Assalamu alaikum, dear students. We already studied the yesterday. We studied these two parts, and today we will study the third part of the this Nebosh IG2 report. We already studied the organization's name of the organization, site location, number of workers, general description of the organization. We already studied these yesterday. Relevant information, description of risk assessment, any other information, and sources of information. So today we will study the risk assessment part. Very important. This risk assessment part, we need to comply all the things in risk assessment in risk assessment. This is part 2. In risk assessment, we will give the organization name. For example, we are preparing this risk assessment for National Garage, General Garage Limited, known as NGG Limited. Date of assessment, very important. You will put the date. You can put the date 6, 7 October, 8 October, or 9 October. You can put. But don't put old date. You need to put this, the date, the current date. Scope of the risk assessment, garage and spray booth activities. Because we are preparing risk assessment for garage and spray booth activity, not the other. We are preparing this risk assessment for the garage and spray booth activities because we already mentioned here description of the area because the risk assessment will cover garage and spray booth activities. Scope of the area for this risk assessment, garage and spray booth activities. The offices have other risk assessment, separate risk assessment. So scope of the area should be matching to that. Okay, so that is garage and spray booth activities. Then we already studied in element number 2 and number 3, the risk assessment. We already studied. So in that hazard category and hazards, the first step is hazard category and hazards identification. Second, who might be harmed and how, and what already doing, what already control measures taken by the company, what further controls or actions are required, time scales for further actions to be completed, then responsible persons, that is a job title. So before this, we will study this hazards category. I will share this notes with you people today. Okay. So these are the hazard category or types of hazards which we will use in our risk assessment part. These hazard category or type of hazards we will use our risk assessment part. These are 20 hazards categories. And from these 20 hazards category, at least 5 types or 5 hazards category we will use. Very important. We will use these 20 types of hazards in our risk assessment part. And from these 20 types, at least 5 hazard category or 5 types we will use. You need to identify at least 10 significant hazards for your risk assessment. The risk assessment we are preparing, we need 10 hazards. For example, we need this 10 hazards. One, you can, at least you need 10 hazards. You can write 11, 12, or 13. 1, 2, this is the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 13, 14, you can write, but at least 10 hazards you need. At least 10 hazards you need. Okay. But you will use, these must come from at least 5 categories of hazards. At least 5 of the hazard categories. These are the hazard categories. These are 20 hazards categories. Are 20 types of hazards. These 10 hazards, at least come out from these 20 hazards categories. Or you will use at least 5 hazards categories. For example, you can use radiation, work-related upper limb disorder, work equipment, work-related driving, manual handling. These are 5 hazard categories. You can take the hazards, this 10 hazards from these 5 hazard categories. Or you can use 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can use, but at least you will use 5 hazard category. If you will use 4 hazards category, your paper, your Nebosh IG2 report will be paper. Because they already mentioned to you, Nebosh already mentioned to you, you will use at least 5 types or 5 hazards category. Not less than 5. You can use more, no problem, but at least 5 hazard category. And these hazard categories are radiation. The company you select for your risk assessment, if there is any radiation, you can take hazards from radiations. Radiation may be available in power plants. This may be not available in power plants, oil and gas, and other types of mechanical industries. So in that industry, there is radiography. And during the radiography, the gamma rays are hospital X-rays available. So if that is available in your organization, you can write. The other hazards category is work-related upper limb disorders. Work-related upper limb disorders. Then work equipment is also hazard type or category. Work-related driving. Manual handling type of hazards or hazard category. Load handling equipments, that is also type of hazards category. Movement of vehicles in people in the company. Noise, mental ill health, vibration, substance abuse, alcohol, any drugs. Then fire, also hazard type or category. Electricity, working at height, slip strips and trips, work-related violence, hazardous substances, health, welfare in work environment, confined space, lone working. These are 20 hazards type or hazard categories. We will use at least 5 hazard categories, or we can use more than 5. No problem, we can use more than 5, but we will use at least. You will check the hazard categories from this and you will use for your risk assessments. I will share these all slides with you. Okay. So how we will use these hazard category? For example, the hazard category and hazardous substance. Hazardous substance, this is a hazard category or type of the hazard. And what hazards from this hazardous substance? Dust, high concentration of processed dust. This is a hazard. The hazard is dust. High concentration of processed dust available. The type of hazard is hazardous substance, and the hazards from that type is dust, high concentration of dust, processed dust. Because this is a workshop, we are making this risk assessment for workshop, and there is we already mentioned the scope of the risk assessment, garage and spray booth. During the spray booth, this high concentration of processed dust, because that we are using the spray, the paint spray. So that dust is very dangerous for our health. So this is a hazard, and the category of this hazard is hazardous substance. The type of hazard is hazardous substance, and the hazard is high concentration of dust. So who might be harmed and how? Two things. Who might be harmed and how? All workers, customers, and others visiting the organization. Please be remember, we will mention here, we cannot write all workers for the other hazard, because we will mention the workers who are affecting from the hazards. But here, this dust may be breathed by all the workers in this garage. And also the customer who are coming to this garage, they will also affect from this dust. And other visiting peoples, if they are coming to this garage, they will also affect from this dust because they will breathe. Okay. And how high concentration of processed dust are always present from the routine and frequent activities being carried out. This because they are painting, they are spray painting, because this is a garage. So during that process, the high concentration of dust available in the air. And that is from these activities, since there is no dust extraction, extraction available in the organization. People breathe in hazardous dust, which can cause anything from short-term irritation to long-term serious health conditions. So they can, this is the result when they breathe this dust that can irritations, short-term irritation to long-term serious health conditions. People can also get the irritant dust on their skin, which can cause dermatitis and their eyes, causing eye irritation and damage, and are even accidentally swallow it hand to mouth transfer from contaminated hands, because they are using the paint and they're spraying and their hands will be contaminated. Maybe if they will eat some things or drink some things, maybe this chemicals or this dust can be transferred to their mouth because their hand is contaminated. So these are the causes or the severity from the hazards, from these hazards. Then what you are already doing to control these hazards? What the company already doing to control these hazards and protect their workers? Dilution ventilations. They have already dilution ventilation in the company. Then dust mask available, but it is not mandatory that these are worn. You already said that dust mask available, but they don't know because they need awareness. So these two things available in the company. And please remember, we will mention these two are whatever the already control measures available for controlling this risk and hazards. We will mention that in past tense. Okay. We will mention this in past tense. And then what further control or actions requires? You will give this further control measures. These all you will suggest it, or you will write in your risk assessment. Because this is suggested by you to control this hazards. So what you give the controls or actions, the first one, enclosed area to be set up for sanding or grinding operation, including that will include a suitable local exhaust ventilation system. This is the first control measure that is suggested by you. And you give the time scale for further action to be completed within 6 months. You give for this 6 months. Why? Because the company will purchase this local ventilation system. And also they will prepare a separate set up enclosed area. They can enclose by walls, by other things. So that needs 6 months. You given to the company 6 months, and responsible person for this job to complete this, to take this control measure, to implement this control measure, to prevent these hazards is workshop manager. The second control measure, purchase of and tool dust extraction system. Tool dust extraction systems available in garage in other industries. You can Google this one. You will see the picture of this. And for this control measure, you given 1 month. And the responsible person to purchase this one finance director. The third control measure to control these hazards, use a face mask in conjunction with extraction system. Use a face mask in conjunction with extraction system. You given 1 month. Store manager to purchase, workshop manager to enforce use. This to enforce use, the store manager responsibility. Third, consider RPE, respiratory protective equipment. This is a PP. If the above do not fully control the hazards. If these three will not control the hazards, then you need to purchase this RPE, respiratory protective equipment. You need to purchase this one, respiratory mask or respiratory protective equipment. For that, you give a 6-month period and workshop manager will purchase this one. Current dilution ventilation system to be inspected and repair if necessary. Because we already mentioned dilution ventilation is already available there, but we need to inspect and repair if necessary. We will check that one. For this, you given 1 month. Workshop manager is responsible for that. The other control measure that is suggested by you, maintenance program for all ventilation system. Ventilation system which is available, we need maintenance program for all ventilation system. So for that, we given 6 months. The other risk control that is suggested by you, improve housekeeping, purchase at least 2 suitable vacuum cleaners to keep dust in the general workplace and office area to a minimum. We need proper housekeeping in our workshop. You already suggested. And for that, you need to purchase 2 vacuum cleaners. And you given 1 month and you give this responsibility to the finance director. Then you mention the other control measures. You suggested the other control measures, safe system of work, SSOW, safe system of work, to be introduced for current system or process, updated on completion of enclosure. Note that workshop manager must consult with workforce when producing the safe system of work. This is administrative control. And for this, you given 2 times, 1 month for current system or process, and 6 months for the other. The workshop manager must consult with the workers. And for this, the responsible person is workshop manager. The other suggested control measures or actions, training program to be set up for all workers undertaking these activities, and the best practice for keeping dust level to a minimum, and the safe system of work. 2 months for this one and 2 months for safe system of work, and workshop manager will conduct this. General hygiene education for those workers undertaking these activities, that's dust ingestion or inhaled from hand to mouth contact, be need to educate the workers for dust ingestion and inhale from hand to mouth. We given them education, awareness education. And for this 1 month, and finance director will do, because the finance director is responsible for health and safety. The other control measures are actions, improved welfare arrangements, and PP, personal protective equipment. Provide separate overall for those doing sanding, grinding operations, and gloves, hand gloves, if appropriate. We need to provide them separate coveralls or overalls, PP, personal protective equipment, and also hand gloves. And you given for this 1 month, and store manager is responsible. Then construction, segregation, and closed area are the changing room for removal of dust cover overalls. For this BB or coveralls or overall, you need to segregate rooms, to construct a segregate rooms, a separate rooms, because they will change the coverall or overall, the dusty coverall or overall in that area, and you given 6 months and store manager is responsible, and improve washing facilities in the changing area. Considers installing showers, and you given 1 month and store manager is responsible. And the last, look into the possibility of setting up a health surveillance program for all affected workers. You also suggested to the company that for the workers, for all the affected workers, need a health surveillance program, health monitoring program. They want to check their health. And for this, you given them to 6 months. During the 6 months, they will check, the medical team will check all the workers, and finance director is responsible for this. So this was our first hazard. Today you study this one. Tomorrow, the remaining hazards we will start, because tomorrow we will give full focus to the risk assessment. And remaining hazards, tomorrow we will study 2 or 3 other hazards we will study, and after that we will study the remaining part. Okay. And also today I will try to share the other risk assessment. The student that is already passed, I will share maximum risk assessment. You can take help from that. Okay, I will share in your group. Okay. So thank you. If any question from your side, you can discuss with me. Mr. Amanullah Khan, Faisal Sultan, Mohammad Rafaq, Sunil Kumar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me. Amanullah.
Sir, this one you said.
Yeah.
That from, yes, you are hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay. You say, sir, that, okay. Okay, sir, you say that from each category you have to find 2 hazards. For example, from fire, how we will define 2 hazards?
No, we will study this tomorrow, because they already taken 5 hazard category. You can take from one hazard category, for example, from the hazardous category, you can take 2 or 3 hazards, maximum 3, but cannot 4 or 5, because you need to minimum 5 hazard category for this risk assessment. So tomorrow, when we will finish this all hazards, you will understand, because they've taken some 3 hazards from one category. Okay, so you can take from one hazard category 2 or 3, but you need to use 5 hazards category. Okay, from one category you take 2 or 3 hazards, but you need to use 5 hazards category. Okay, So when we will finish, you will understand. Your question will be there. Okay. Any other question? Amanullah, Faisal, Sultan, Rafaq.
Yes, sir. I think that's it.
Yeah, you, because they already, your question is clear here. Because this hazardous substance, they take from one hazard, and again, the hazardous substance, maybe they used here. Again, look, hazardous substance, the second hazard from this, use of motor oil and fuel. This also hazardous, come in hazardous substance. Okay. So they take from this, I think, 2 hazards. From working at height, they take 2 hazards. Yes, they take 3 hazards. And hauling paint, mist containing isocanates. We will study all these hazards. Okay, you will understand. Your question will be clear, inshallah. Tomorrow we will study the other hazards, so your question will be clear. Faisal, any other person? Okay, tomorrow we will study the remaining part of the risk assessment. We will study within 2 or 3 days. Don't worry, okay? So today I will try to share some maximum risk assessment with you people. Just check that risk assessment, you will understand. And prepare according to that your risk assessment. Okay? Thank you. Allah Hafiz.